All right, what's up? Welcome to me Duole podcast, episode number 62. I am Stuart Anderson with just a short introduction before we hear from Nathan Spratt and Jason Lang. Nathan is a up-and-coming star pro rider here in Salt Lake City. If you've watched him on Strava and seen some of his incredible rides and races, he is deep into cycling, and we're grateful to spend some time with him learning about his recovery process with multiple bowls of cereal, how much he loves racing gravel, and obviously his win last year in the pro category at Loadogen. So fitting time to talk to him this week with Loadogen coming up on Saturday. Fun to hear from him and learn a bit about what he's doing this year and next year. And just an all-around great guy. Really fun to be with him and meet him and hear his fun personality. So thank you, Nathan. Thank you, Jason Lang, who joined on this podcast for the time. And hopefully you guys enjoy it. Big thanks to everybody who joined us last week at Kit Pickup. We also did a team ride up Immigration. We had about 30 guys. A lot of fun to be up that canyon when it's not pitch black and early morning. So it was a reminder that maybe we should do a few rides in the afternoon up there, evening time up Immigration. A great time to be together and meet some new faces and be part of the team at a different time. So anyway, great to be with y'all. Thankful for the time we spent together at Kit Pickup. And we're gearing up to 2023 with all of our new sponsors and as well as kit releases for the winter. We're going to be doing red kits next year. Red's coming back, so we're looking forward to opening the team store soon and having some really fun new kits for that. So, final announcements. Wheels of Justice is hosting the Five Canyons event coming up. That's not this coming Saturday. This coming Saturday is Loadogen. Next Saturday, I believe it's the 17th, is the Wheels of Justice Five Canyons event. If you haven't signed up, we're a big sponsor and supporter of that event, and we'd love to have as many me Duoles and riders out. All the money goes to a great cause. It's all donated to charity, and that's why the event is around. That's the purpose of the event, is to raise money. So go to the Wheels of Justice and the Five Canyons website, and there's still time to sign up. So anyway, enjoy the episode. Grateful for all of you and thankful for spending this time with us on the podcast. All right, bye. All right, what up? Welcome, everybody. Me Duole Podcast, episode 62. I'm joined today, Jason Lang. Jason, how are you?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
The real question is, are those real bricks?
These are not real bricks. They're fake bricks. Just like your fake wood.
Because this is fake wood. Look. Whoa. That's funny. All right. And then Nate Spratt. Welcome, Nate Spratt.
Hey. Good to be on here.
If you don't know him, dude, just a legend in our hometown of Salt Lake City. We're so grateful that he would be on, spend a few minutes with us. He just told us, though, he's got to rest the legs here. We don't want to stress him out. He's got TNE tonight. What is that acronym for again? What's the acronym?
Tuesday Night Immigration.
Tuesday Night Immigration. 6:15 at the mouth for all you hard-nosed dudes that want to just nuke it. It's going to be so hot tonight. Oh, man.
You got it. It's the event of the year.
Jace, you're not going, though. You got all road legs.
Yeah, I'm not quite ready to hit it. I mean, I don't recover as fast as Nate. I can't just hammer all the time every day like this guy can. He just eats some Cinnamon Toast Crunch and then he's back at
Boom. Just a bowl of cereal. Fun. I do want to dive into TNE, though. I think that's a very fun activity. Let's just talk about it now. Nate, is it your idea?
Let's see. It started a year and a half ago.
Okay.
Kind of the Specialized crew. They started it up, but it was like only 4-6 of us every week.
Nice.
Until like a month ago, we just started throwing memes on Instagram, and,
so funny.
And the vibes are real. Don't let the haters tell you otherwise.
Jason, you've been. I've never been to it. Is it just right from the get-go? It's just we're just going. Everybody just goes.
Pretty much. I mean, at least my experience with it has been, I've been twice, just like in the last few weeks.
Yeah.
And it is, everybody kind of slow rolls out of the parking lot at the bottom And then if you talk to Nate, he'll say, oh, it doesn't really, get up to speed till Ruth's. But no, it is like you're hammering by Ruth's. I mean, you just kind of like all roll out, and then you wait for the first guy to kind of pick up the pace. And then it's just on.
Nate, is there a goal? Like, I know whoever's controlling the Instagram page is like, no, we're gonna do the KOM. I mean, that KOM has existed for what, 10 years? By when Tour of Utah was here, those dudes did like a 20-minute whatever. Is it possible, Nate? Is that the goal?
That is the end goal. That's
Okay.
like post race season, sort of.
Yes.
We're gonna one Tuesday we're gonna get out and just full gas, rip it. Don't attack each other, just pace line.
Nice.
And just try to get it. But it's a very lofty, pretty high up KOM because we're a ways off at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think with a tailwind and like you said, a pace line effort could get pretty close. I mean, I won't be up there, but I'll put in a few good pulls until Roots.
Nice. Okay, shameless plug then. Tuesday night immigration, 6:15 at the homeless park where somebody's peeing on the picnic tables, living in the bathroom. And then you guys just slow roll. Do you roll out right at 6:15? Or is there a prayer, or how does it work?
It's like a soft 6:15, but definitely by 6:20 we're rolling.
Okay. TNE. Very good. That's great. Okay. I need to introduce Nate, if you don't know him, from Salt Lake City. We'll talk about this, but he got his career kind of started in triathlons. Broiler up, is that what you say? I mean, that's like go Utes, but that's for broiler up.
Oh, boiler up.
Boiler up. Sorry, yeah. What remind me? Yeah, very good. Purdue. Okay. And then I love this. He decided that running hurt too much and swimming was too boring, so he switched to cycling. We all know Nate's favorite food cereal, all the cereal. It's kind of a ongoing joke, which I really think is fun. Non-cycling activity, working on and building cars. That's cool. Is that something your whole life you've been doing that, or?
Yeah, kind of like growing up around the Indianapolis area and the Indy 500. Kind of grew up in an auto family and racing and building motorcycles and cars and stuff. So yeah, it keeps me busy when I'm not riding bikes.
Very cool. Some cycling highlights. Obviously, if you didn't know, Loadogen next week. He won last year, first place in the pro group. Maybe we can talk about that a little later. And then we watched you in the spring win, and I never really know how. This is like pronouncing the word Volet. Is it Voler? Is it Volet? It's the Tour of Gila. Am I saying it right? I don't like a Gila monster. Like, well, I don't know what to say. Jason?
It's an H, I think. Gila monster.
Oh, yeah, I say Gila, like an H. Yeah,
guys. Well, thanks for that. I know you did that stage race. You got a first place victory there. So cool to see on your Instagram there on that top podium. And then True Grit Gravel. That was just this spring, right?
Yeah. Just this past, what was it, March or April?
March.
Time?
Yeah. So a lot of cool podiums, accolades in your short career as a cyclist. I mean, I was online. It was 2016 was kind of your first races ever. So you've only really been, very short career, which is awesome. And then there were some goals here on the Instagram page for Abus Pro, which is the team you ride for, right? I mean, you say Abus Pro, but also Ascent. Like, which one do you?
So yeah, on Gravels, the Abus squad, and then on road is with Hanger 15.
Oh, with Hanger. Okay, cool. We got to make sure we get the sponsors right. Sorry.
Oh, you're all
very
good.
And then you have a personal goal to podium at Crusher and win the Wasatch All Road. Was that for this year, next year? What are you thinking?
Well, I think really every year, but this year we did not do too well. The whole hand injury kept me at it from racing Crusher, and then All Road. I don't know, just didn't have the legs, but still enjoyed ripping it with the fast crew out there. So it was still fun.
Jason was out there, brutal course.
I hope they change it next year. That course was, I mean, it ate me up. I was not prepared for that day.
Jason took a nap.
I laid down. I saw Travis McCabe at that final aid station laying down, and I was like, hey, that looks pretty good. I'm going to lay down. as well. Give me a Coke. I'm going to lay down for 10 minutes.
Very fun. Nate, maybe you can talk. You've got some great information here about your history and kind of what you do for work. Do you want to just start there where you went to school, talk about your family? You got your brother. I hope he's not feeling left out. Maybe we'll interview him in a couple weeks. But, do you want to just talk about that a little bit about your background?
Yeah, sure thing. Born and raised in Indiana, but not a Hoosier. I'm a Boilermaker. Went to Purdue there for bioengineering, and that's kind of where my start into Utah began. Just kind of looking for jobs out west because I wanted to hit the mountains.
Nice.
I mean, the Midwest is all right, but unless you really love corn and soybeans, it's not so fun.
And racing flat roads, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, with it's all about the headwinds out there. So, but yeah, then after graduating from Purdue, moved out, lived in Logan for a bit. Worked at Pepperidge Farm there, cookies and goldfish.
Nice.
which was good bike fuel, but yeah, then slowly moved south, lived in Ogden for a bit. The OG Tuesday night ride, I guess as they call it, up there at the Envy crew.
Mm-hmm.
And then down now in Salt Lake, loving it here. Love hitting the canyons. I mean, I guess that's pretty much the main backbone of my training is hitting canyons hard. With my brother, as you mentioned, got a twin brother.
Mark. Okay.
Yeah, we live together, train together, race together. Spend a lot of time together, and the competitiveness between each other helps drive us. But
nice.
I mean, we love beating up on each other.
It's fun. You got to. It's standard for brothers.
Yeah,
all right.
Twin brothers too. You're genetically the same. Nobody has an advantage, right?
Yes.
Just whoever works harder.
That's awesome. I don't know where I was introduced to you, but I swear, correct me if I'm wrong, I swear I used to watch you do a lot of rides with Marcy Kimball and Heidi Monson? Heidi Madsen. And you guys would do these like
Rob Smallman.
Yeah, Rob. And I remember, I think that was last year, maybe 2020, but you did like a million vertical feet. And I'm like, what is happening? How's that even possible? So maybe, I think that'd be a fun story to talk about. Jace, if you have anything else, I think it'd be fun to hear how you kind of transition, Nate, from being a recreational climber just into like, how did you decide, or how did it happen where you went next level?
Yeah. I guess I don't know, after moving out to Utah, because I hadn't really climbed much, so to say, because, back in Indiana, your biggest hill is 2 minutes. And coming out here, it's hard to describe. I love the feeling of climbing, like just having that constant, you can't stop, you're just constantly pushing hard, and plus it forces you. You go out to a little Cottonwood or whatever, you can't do it easy.
Right.
It forces you to ride hard. So in a way that creates structure to my training and forces me to work hard and try to make the legs hurt. But then I also I don't know, I love going after Strava comms. I'm not gonna, be, not gonna hide behind something. I love my Strava comms. So yeah, that also gives me some motivation. But yeah, I think really ultimately living out in Utah and being with a lot of stiffer competition and racing a lot more just pushed me to try to go for that next level. And I mean, now I'm still working. I'm still trying to move my way up. I always see myself at the bottom of the pyramid still, because there's always somebody faster, you're never going to be at the top.
I agree. Yep.
I don't know that there's that many people faster than you every time I see you climb a canyon. Or like the craziest stuff that I used to see from you was during COVID when none of us were racing and we were all just like riding in the middle of the day, just like, like having the best time of our lives. And you'd do these rides where you'd go, like Emmy, Big Mountain around to like Snow Basin and then Powder Mountain. And you do these rides that were like 8 hours and all of the hardest climbs in Utah linked together, averaging like 280 watts for 8 hours. And I was like, who is this guy? Like, this is impossible. It's nuts.
I do love the long days. Like, there's something about it where you don't necessarily have an end goal or a time limit, and you really just go until you're done climbing. You don't want to climb anymore that day.
Yeah.
So.
And then also you do that in the winter too. You'd post these pictures where you climb to Brighton or Alta in the middle of a snowstorm and then descended it on your road bike.
So fun. Wow. Yeah.
That's what I love about Utah. They plow all the roads. It like keeps it clear so you can ride in the winter.
Very fun.
It's a bit cold though. There's been times where I've gone out with some friends riding. Like I think Rob Smallman, friend of mine, his coldest moment ever was doing Little Cottonwood in a snowstorm with me.
Dude.
I bet.
Coming down that canyon in the winter is nothing colder. That's intense.
So do you feel like, you said against stiffer competition, do you feel like the quality of rider here in Utah is pretty high just because there's so many climbers, and I mean that there's enough guys that can push you to your limit?
Yeah, for sure. Like, I didn't race too much back in Indiana, and the racing was different back there. It's like all about crits and cyclocross.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, after coming out here, I think the terrain and just the culture out here is more of like the fitness types, I guess, whether it's cycling or running or climbing. More just like drives people to get better at whatever sport they're doing. Both Colorado, raced a bit in Colorado. My brother lived there, Colorado and Utah. Something about the mountains makes everybody faster.
Yep.
Like you said before, you can't go too slow up them. You just have to turn the pedals over. So everybody's suffering to some degree if you decide to go up a canyon.
Yeah, you just keep putting on a smaller cassette and just keeps getting worse.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Nate, maybe you could talk about your race season. We mentioned maybe before we started recording that you did have a bit of an injury this year, but maybe talk about 2021, 2022, and then I know you had a little accident this year. So can we do that? Can we recap?
Yeah, sure thing. Back in 2021, I guess there was the usual local races that I did that, it's West Mountain, East Canyon, things like that. Didn't race like too much. I think we were still in that like COVID limbo stage, if I'm remembering right.
Mm-hmm.
But then the Loadogen, that race, that was nice to get the win there finally. That was I think the third time that I'd done it.
Nice.
But yeah, it was nice. This was doing it with the brother Mark. He raced it with me, which was it's always nice to have him in the race, to have not only a teammate, but he's your brother. You know him so well that we can communicate without talking.
Nice.
Can I ask you on that note, on the Loadogen note, is it true the 2020 Loadogen, did you like solo break for like 80 miles and then double flat?
Oh, yeah. So 2020, we were going up the first climb there.
Strawberry.
And up Strawberry, and just kind of hit it hard towards the top. And then I turned back and nobody was there. And I'm like, well, I guess it's go time. And put the head down. And then I flatted coming over the backside of Strawberry. And luckily was able to roll into the first aid station there, change the wheel, and then keep going solo from there until mile like 150 or 160, I think. And then the group caught me, and yeah, we rolled in together, and sprint finished, and Cam Hoffman, shout out to him, ended up taking it. The dude's a beast. But yeah, that was one of the harder races I've done for sure.
Nice. Sorry to side rail you there on Loadogen, but
no.
Oh no, love talking about Loadogen.
Maybe I know you got so Nate had a hurt wrist. Was it your wrist? What happened with your wrist this season?
Yeah. So just regular old training ride coming back from Emmy, and yeah, got doored. Guy was parked in the bike lane, and I moved over into the car lane, and just kind of bad timing.
Freak.
Ended up breaking quite a few bones in the hand, and yeah, it was surgery on that. Had some pins put in, and couldn't really ride outside, and yeah, it was definitely a bummer, but glad it was just my hand, not my head, my neck, something like that. So super thankful that I was relatively okay.
Nice.
But
Jace, did you put this question down, or did Nate put it down here? Okay, you ask it. Yeah.
So super curious how it is. So you started out as a road racer, then you joined this pro team A-Bus, right? And so I guess the first lead-in question is differences between gravel and road racing, and which one you like better.
Oh man. Is this like one of those picking between your two kids? That's like I would say if I had to pick gravel, but really because it suits my style of racing, where you can't really sit in too much, especially Utah gravel, because it's pretty climby. So it's just like every race is a race of attrition, and it's just who's got the best legs that day.
Nice.
But not to say I don't like road racing. I love stage racing. I wish there were more, but I get it. It's hard to put on a race just for one day, let alone 5. So yeah, I think.
So that I figured that's what you were going to say, is you would prefer gravel just because there's not all the team tactics of road racing, of like sitting in and hiding, and the person that does the least work at the end of the race is the one with the best legs to sprint and win, and you're just more of a drop the hammer type of guy and huck and pray, hope for the best.
TNE, baby.
That's right. You got it.
So you burst onto the gravel scene. You've been racing in a lot of big races, Steamboat, the most recent one. Maybe talk about what it's like to race against all of the biggest personalities in the sport with the Lifetime Series, and you're out there with Keegan and Payson and Pete Stetna and all these big personalities. What's it like racing with those guys?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it's intimidating going into pretty much any race. You're looking at the reg start list, and you're seeing all these big names that are like, oh, these guys are just gonna rip my legs off, and they do. But that's part of the fun of it. So I mean, yeah, like I think the first real intro I got into racing those guys was Crusher last year, and racing Stetna. And I just remember him lighting it up on that first climb, and that was like my first intro into, wow, like these guys are fast, like this hurts. And knowing I couldn't sustain that kind of effort, and ultimately, he dropped me hard. But I think if you're racing faster dudes than you all the time, it does drive you and push you to try to get faster. And not that like I'm trying to be like a big name or anything. Ultimately it's all about having fun for me. But a lot of the guys that are those big names happen to be also just good guys. So I love hanging with them, and both before and after the races. It's always nice when your competitors who are beating you are nice people.
Yeah. So you had a big result too. It's podium at Steamboat. Maybe you want to talk us through. That was quite a
day.
There was a lot of social media chatter about that race.
Yeah. Did you wear a hydration pack that day, Nate?
I did not. No, it might have been. That was probably my detriment right there. It's the downfall. No, that was it was an unplanned day. Just had the teammate John Borstelman. Shout out to him. I love him. That dude on and off the bike. He's an incredible teammate. And yeah, just we rolled the first little riser, and all of a sudden we had a gap, and we're like, well, this isn't normal for a gravel race to have a break. Normally it's just the front group just makes it hard all day until everyone pops. And I was like, I guess, I'll try this thing. I love breaks in road racing. That's my style. Just steady state, trying to get as big of a gap as you can. And yeah, we rolled really well together. We had Freddie Ove with us from Legion. And yeah, one of the hardest gravel races I've ever done, just because, normally you're used to sitting in for at least a bit of the race, but that break went from
Mile 8.
Mile 6. Yeah, 8,
6.
something like that.
So awesome.
Yeah, that was a awesome day to be with the teammate, but ultimately, yeah, a little mishap in the feed zone, crashing kind of, kept me from getting the result that I wanted. But hey, it's racing against Keegan. The dude's a beast.
So it was you and Freddie pretty quickly, right? Just you two in a 2-man break?
After, yeah, that was about mile 105-ish. John told me to, he was getting wore out. He just raced Leadville the day before. So I was amazed that he held on that long. And then, yeah, we went up a riser, and John's like, yeah, just go, man, go for it. And then Freddie and I rolled together until we hit that feed zone, and there was all those bikes laying all over the road, and came in first wheel, and oh crap, locked it up, slid, chain dropped. That was, yeah, hurriedly rushing, trying to get that back on while Freddie's up the road. Chased back onto him, but I had blown so many matches chasing that 8 miles back to his wheel. And ultimately going over the last gravel climb, we were trying to make it over the top because we knew if we made it over, when Keegan passed us, we'd be able to latch on. But 100 yards from the top, Keegan blows by like a freight train, and I'm like, bye.
They barely caught you guys.
I know. And what could have been, right? Like if you didn't have to blow all those matches, might have made it over the top, right?
Yeah. I try not to think about it too much because, what could have been, but I'm still pretty happy with it.
Yeah, great result.
The field, so.
Yeah. Nate, one thing we didn't talk about, which I think is always kind of an interesting dynamic, is people see you as like a pro racer. It's like, oh, that's what he does. Dude, you have a job. Biking. Yeah. Can you talk about that balance? Like, how do you make that work?
Yeah. So yeah, I work as a research and development scientist for a formulation company. So yeah, do mainly official and Crowell stuff, and that's my day job, so to say. Keeps me busy, whatever, the 40-hour week kind of thing. But yeah, I guess straight out of college, I never lived that that lifestyle of trying to do bike racing full time. So it's just what I'm used to. But training's always after work in the evenings. That means, once the time change happens in wintertime, it's, trainer from November through whenever that is, April. But yeah, I think I take advantage of my weekends. I know a lot of guys that I race with that maybe don't work jobs, kind of think it's funny that I do 2 big back-to-back days on Saturdays and Sundays, but it's like, hey, those are the days I got off.
Right.
So yeah, I think it definitely forces you to have some good time management, but ultimately I don't have kids, so I at least have some free time.
Man, I thought all the cereal consumption was because you had like a 4-year-old, but no. That's just just kidding. Nice. Hey, well, maybe you could talk about transitioning from, having fun, racing as a normal guy, to what your life is like different with with more racing, more maybe responsibility as a pro. What's that like? How's that change been?
Yeah, so I think like, there definitely is more pressure now, going into the races, like to perform week in, week out, and particularly with the gravel scene, this time of year, that July, August, you're racing almost every weekend, and it's hard to maintain that peak. But then that is also the nice part of having teammates. If going into a race that it's not going to be your day, um, or your course, or the legs aren't feeling good, you can go into it working for somebody else. So, like, there isn't as much teamwork as road racing, just because gravel is that kind of racing of attrition. But yeah, it's definitely a different lifestyle too. The whole social media thing was very new to me, and as you guys probably know, it's very much a part of the quote unquote pro scene. Although I, would say I do not consider myself a pro by no means. I see myself as getting into it, and that's the ultimate goal. But right now, it's more semi with large capital letters, and then pro down in a little subscript.
I think there's only one way to categorize that. Do you pay for kits?
No,
You're a pro. That's it. You're a pro. Hey, speaking of kits, Duole, they sponsor our team. Ventum sponsor our team. So that's kind of a fun connection. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, Jason. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh. What? Were you going to go ahead and finish?
No, yeah. Go ahead, Nate.
Oh, yeah, no. But you saying that about Duole and Ventum, yeah, I was going to ask you guys. That's pretty much, we got the same couple. Yeah, I love both Ventum and Duole. From like, they make it feel like family. I mean, the crews over there are amazing. I mean, it's nice that Ventum's just right here in Utah, but yeah, the whole team over at Duole, awesome crew. I love meeting them at races. So
yeah, that's fun.
What I'm curious, what does A-Bus require of you as like being part of their pro team? You say you're, big capital letters semi-pro, but what is their expectation of you? Do they tell you what races to race?
Yes, we do have like our what we call A races, that they set aside at the beginning of the season, which is nice for me. That way I can let my boss know when I'm taking vacation from the regular work days. But yeah, they set aside, this year was six races, and then they leave it open to everything else, as far as like whether it's local races or whether they want to race in other parts of the U.S. But yeah, the kind of expectation is to make posts and whatnot on social media to promote the sponsors, and not in like a forceful way. I don't want to like shove it down people who follow me, that buy their product kind of thing. It's more of like Ventum. I love the company, and I love the people. I've been able to meet them, and it's more of like promoting it as the Ventum family rather than the product itself, and it speaks for itself. I mean I love my Ventum bike. I think Stu, you ride the gravel.
Yeah,
that's I love that thing.
Same. It's awesome. Well, how'd you know that? How'd you know I ride that?
He's peeping your Strava.
You.
Yes.
Yeah.
yes. Fun. Nice.
So
go ahead,
Nate. I guess a couple of things. One, what have you been able to learn racing so much more now? You have a requirement to race some gravel races, but then you've been, picking up a ton more pro races as well. How's it made you a better cyclist? What have you learned?
Definitely on the gravel scene. I learned a lot coming from 2021 versus 2020. Had a lot of not so great races last year, and learned quickly that gravel racing is a lot like Ironman triathlons, where half of it's an eating contest, and you can't eat and drink enough. And before, And a lot of times during training rides, I maybe am bad about it. I don't eat enough. And kind of that translated over into my racing, and I ended up not having great results because of it. But now I'm just always eating and drinking on the bike, and that's a huge impact into those 100, 120, 140 or Unbound. I mean, I missed it this year, but yeah, it's super important and key. So that's one of the things I learned, and then the other that I'm still trying to get better at is to learn to save energy. Swallow your pride. Don't pull too hard. I made that mistake at Steamboat, the brake, but it's hard at times. You're out there and you're wanting to race and you're wanting to ride hard. It's hard to hold back.
I got to tell you a story about that. You're kind of known for that you're willing to just drop the hammer all the time. At the Envy Crit at the start of the year, you were in a 3-man break with Jack and Jack Shukra and Ryan Zabo. And I was asking Ryan after the race, like, man, what was it like being up there with Spratt? He's like, dude, that guy would pull through at like 400 plus watts and hang and just like stay up there for a full lap. And we would just let him. And then we'd pull through, a regular pull through and stay on for a quarter of a lap. And then he'd hammer again for a full lap. They just let you work. then they had fresher legs at the end for the sprint.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for sure. That's like crit racing for me is all about trying to get into a break, because I have a terrible sprint. It is absolutely garbage, as my brother would attest. So for me, if I get into a break and if I get beaten the sprint, it's all part of it. But
Nice.
Dude, what is your favorite maybe favorite place to train, favorite place to ride? Like, what's your favorite course? What's the kind of your top whether it's a course or a route? Because the funny thing, Nate, I live on 45th South and 19th East. And so you are going up 45th South. Like, I see you all the time passing the Macy's in your, kit. And I'm like, there you go. He's going. And Hannah Finchamp's the same. I don't know where she lives. If you guys live close to each other, she's going up 45th South. Like, it's always the same. Anyway, where's your favorite place to go?
Yeah, favorite place. My brother and I took a trip to just outside of LA last November. And we did this route up Lake Arrowhead and Big Bear. And I'd have to say that has to be like probably my all-time favorite ride ever, as far as a training ride goes, and would love to live there. I mean, well, if I, could afford California, but no, I think locally though, it's Big Cottonwood. That's, kind of, I see it as like my backyard canyon. And yeah, get up 45th, as you said, Stu, to get to Wasatch, and then head up Big Cottonwood. But yeah, and then if I had to pick a favorite course, the last day of Gila, that stage, I love that. It's all about climbing.
Cool. Yeah. So anything with lots of vert, that's what you like.
You got it. The more vert, the better. Preferably under 10%. I'm a little too heavy after that.
What do you weigh? I've always wondered that.
I'm about like 70, 71 kilos in there. In freedom units, what's that? 156?
Sure. You're a scientist. You can speak in the correct language.
I think that's the name of this podcast, Freedom Units.
Freedom Units.
That was funny.
So I got to know, are you coached? Are you self-coached? Do you follow any sort of structure? Like, do you just hammer all the time?
I am self-coached. Don't have a coach. I really like, to me, the structure kind of takes the fun out of it in a way, and makes it feel like more like a job. But on the flip side, the mountains sort of are my structure. Like, if I go hard on, Emmy, it's going to be a little over a 20-minute effort kind of thing. Whereas if I go longer on the big stuff, it forces me to do what I call like hill intervals. So Yeah, well, I don't have like structured training plans. I do, understand the basic concepts of a build and peaking and tapering, and I do build that. It's in the back of my head, kind of running of what I'm gonna do over the next few weeks, and then I do very much play it by ear. I feel like I'm the person who's gonna know what my body feels like the best. While a coach, there's that lost in translation of being able to determine what's going to be best for you that day. And ultimately, half of coaching is accountability and having that person to kind of push you, which for me, I'm lucky to have my brother.
Nice.
So he fills that for me.
Nice. I would imagine you have such big numbers. Like, do you have coaches that reach out to you and say, I'd really like to coach you, no cost. I just want to have you as an athlete?
No, I guess I haven't had anybody reach out as far as wanting to coach me.
Well, this podcast is broad reaching.
Yeah,
so you're gonna have coaches banging down your door.
Thanks, Jace. I can't tell if you're mocking me or not.
No. There's actually a bunch of coaches that listen to this.
Nice, cool. Hey, I'm interested, Nate, in what you've learned about like pre-race. I mean, we joke around about cereal, but what do you do for pre-ride, pre-race? Like, what is this food you're chowing down on? It's your favorite stuff.
Yeah. So it's kind of a little odd for the cereal thing. Is never at breakfast. Cereal is always post dinner for me. That's kind of like my my cool down, like chill out for the night. Couple 3 bowls of cereal, get the carbs in.
Nice.
But yeah, pre-race though, also kind of a strange one. People laugh when I tell them it's Pop-Tarts. Brown sugar cinnamon. 2 of them after I wake up, and 1 of them about 30 minutes before the gun goes off. So,
there's no other flavor of Pop-Tart as far as I'm concerned.
You're
brown sugar cinnamon.
Okay. Okay.
Plus, on the bike, Pop-Tarts, they're like exactly the size of a jersey pocket.
Right.
You tuck those in. That's my go-to.
What's the calories in a single Pop-Tart guy?
400 per like foil pack.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Do you have a target? Are you trying to get 100 grams of carbs per hour or anything when you're riding hard?
Yeah, like I mix my bottles and then the combination of bottles and gels during a race. So then I'm trying to get in about 300 calories an hour. Some of the time it's hard. The pace picks up, and you can't eat for an hour if it's pegging hard. But you try to make up for it, and especially on gravel, you take advantage of the asphalt sections. At times it can be hard to eat. As you know, Jason riding All Road last weekend.
Going up that wall or something, you can't eat going up the wall.
Right, exactly. So yeah, it's definitely still what I'm learning though. What suits me best on the bike as far as eating. Thankfully, I kind of have like an iron stomach, so I can put pretty much anything down. But trying to get that balance of calories per hour is hard.
Very. Yeah. Any big goals for rest of the year? Next year, what are you looking for?
Yeah, I mean, trying to defend Loadogen this year.
Oh boy.
Did you know we're starting with you? Me and Stuart are in your start group.
I saw that email today, I think it was. It's like,
we're scared.
This is the face we're making.
Oh, it's not hard till the first climb, though. So we're
great.
all good. You're rolling in the dark. But yeah, I think as far as the rest of this year, Loadogen, and then Big Sugar is the last gravel race, our last A race as a team. And I think that course kind of suits me, kind of like Steamboat did. So gonna try to pull a result out there. But yeah, we got RPI here and leaving tomorrow. That's the first one for me. I have not done that race before. I don't know if either of you have.
I don't even know what it is. What's RPI?
Rebecca's Private Idaho.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So a stage race kind of thing, which is also new to me for gravel. So it'll be fun.
Man, I forgot we didn't talk about Gravel Worlds. Weren't you on the podium there just like a couple weeks ago? Last week?
Oh, yeah. They're
Jeez. No big deal.
No big deal. Just podium at Worlds.
It's deceptively hilly, Lincoln, Nebraska. You think of it like the Midwest and it's flat, but shoot, we got 11,000 feet of vert almost.
Dang.
In 150 miles. And yeah, there was a tandem with us at that race, which for anyone new to gravel, everything goes there. It's an open start field. So this tandem rolls by and I see some rainbow stripes on their kit. And I'm like, oh, these guys are legit. And yeah, looked them up afterwards, like multi-time tandem world champs.
What?
Like faster than Ashton Lambie at the 4K pursuit on the track. Like sub 4, just ridiculously fast guys from the Netherlands, I think.
Huh.
But yeah, they were the ones who absolutely tore my legs off after bridging to that lead group.
Huh.
2 against 1. That's not fair.
Yeah. Nice.
But
you gotta agree with me, Nate. Utah gravel, which is just mountain biking since we're on single track versus all that Midwest stuff. Like, do you agree? I mean, it's just not gravel, right? It's mountain biking.
It's totally different. I mean, as John Borselman, my teammate, said after this race, he's like, I'm never doing that again. I hated that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's almost there's not even gravel. It's just rocks.
Yeah, exactly. I've been trying to convince these guys for a couple of years, like, hey, can we just like ride our hardtails and call this mountain biking? Let's not trick ourselves.
No, it's funner to ride the road over. We might as well just ride the road over to a mountain bike trail.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's fun though.
I mean, we look up to you. You're awesome, and we always kind of end the show or kind of wrap up with advice from you. I don't know if you thought about it, but whether it's life or training or balance, anything really goes here. But would you have any advice for us peons, us mortal men, as we look to you?
I think like really my biggest advice for riding and training is to always remember that, at the end of the day, you're trying to get faster, but if it's not fun, like, why are you doing it? If you get into it and you're getting frustrated because you're not, hitting goals, you got to step back and realize that, why are you doing this if you're not having fun? Which for me, that's why I don't do the structured training that, I've learned in the past that loses motivation for me if I do it. And then 2, I think, like find a part, if you're a cyclist, which we obviously are, find a part of cycling that you really enjoy, and stick with it. Like for me, it's climbing. I'll never turn down a climb. If Mark tells me, hey, let's go hit up this climb at the end of a ride kind of thing, do something extra, it's like, yeah, sure. And whether that's, like time trialing, like Matt Bailey, he loves time trialing, and he sticks with it. And if it's something that you really enjoy, it's going to keep you doing it. And then that will translate over. If you like Matt are into time trialing, that'll also make you better at climbing indirectly. So yeah, find something you really love about cycling, whether it's group rides like T&E, and get out and ride with your buds and have them push you. Just find what you love and stick with it.
Nice.
That's good advice. Any KOMs gonna fall after the race season this year? What's the target?
Big Cottonwood has been my arch nemesis.
Ooh, Alex Grant. He's just waiting there.
I've joked Lindsay Stevenson. She's also sitting number 2 on the Quam list, and she tells me that we'll be forever the prince and princess of BCC. Can't get the king and queen yet. That's the goal ultimately, but I've tried so many times and come up short.
Tough.
That's a tough one.
You know which one I shared with Jess Clapier was that, have you guys ever seen the segment that is the triple immigration?
Triple immigration? No.
So the segment is up and down, up and down, up. It's like
Okay.
Did you see Jess just did that, I think, like last week?
Did he do it?
He didn't take the KOM, but he cupped it.
It's tough.
Yeah,
oh
it's
man,
hard.
who's got it?
I don't know.
I can't remember.
Some big old guy. I don't know who he is, but he's legit. It's not. He was not in a car. I can confirm that he was not. The other one I have my eye on, and it's only because I'm like, I could maybe get the top 10 here, is the Lambs Canyon KOM.
Oh yes.
And Alex has that one too.
Yeah.
But it's like right from the mouth all the way to the lake. Go get it, Nate.
Man.
You can get it.
I'll try.
There's
Some
a private
of the KOMs are tough because it's Tour of Utah country, but Big Cottonwood isn't. So
yeah.
You don't. Whenever you're competing against pros in a peloton, that's tough.
It's tough.
Oh, it's so hard. That's
that where
why
we're
Amy's gonna be a tough one.
Another TNE plug. There it is, Jace. All right. Any other advice, Nate? I mean, I'm interested in. You're a very positive, energetic person by nature. Is there anything else you do that helps with recovery, or any secrets to that? Keeping positive and full of energy.
I mean, it's got to be in the cereal, you know. No, I think like I don't know, having my brother there with me, you know, that's also, you know, it doesn't necessarily need to be family that you ride with, but definitely friends, you know, that you can get down on yourself at times if you're all just solo all the time. So, you know, like your guys' crew that I see in the mornings. I mean, that's awesome. You guys got something going there, and that's super cool to see. I mean, too early for me, but
you joined for that one Zwift ride. You got one in.
That was an early morning.
That was fun to have you. Jace, any other advice questions you want to know before we wrap up?
No, I think all of us are just excited to see kind of how your career keeps growing and see which KOMs you're targeting and which podiums you're going to, you know, target and get this next year. Can't wait to see you on the podium at Crusher and Wasatch All Road next year. I hope Wasatch All Road's a different course, but because I'm not going to do that same course again, but can't wait to see you up there.
Well, cool. Thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah, that means a lot to hear you guys say that. So,
yeah, man, we're your biggest fans. Hey, how do you get into the Lifetime series? I'm sorry for my ignorance there. Can you do that next year, or is that an invitation? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, so it's like an application process, and part of it's kind of like your social media following and how well, you know, you're able to promote the series, and then part of it's, you know, race results. So yeah, I haven't looked like too much into that just because mountain biking is still very new to me. But yeah, it'll probably be something I look into next year, trying to hit that series.
Nice. All right,
you can do Leadville on a gravel bike.
Oh no. You would die going down pipeline. Not a good idea. All right, cool. Nate, you're the man, dude. We just wanted to have you on to show our appreciation, admiration for you. You're a stud, and our team's 100% behind you, man. We're grateful to watch you, and you're just the man, dude.
Well, thanks. That means a lot. Like, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me on. Like, this has been cool. I love chatting with you guys, and yeah, hopefully see you out on the road here in Utah.
Yeah, make sure is Mark upset? Is he like sitting right next to you, like fuming, or is he good?
No, he's all good. Probably taking a nap right now.
All right, dude. Thanks, Jace. Thanks, Nate.
Good to talk to you guys.
Thanks a lot, guys.